The psychology of emotional overload. Have you ever reached a point where even a small problem feels impossible to handle? A simple message irritates you. A minor mistake feels like a distress. Someone asks you a normal question, but you suddenly feel like you cannot answer. You are not necessarily weak. You may simply be emotionally overloaded. Emotional overload happens when the amount of emotional stress entering your mind becomes greater than your ability to process it. And the interesting part is that your brain does not always warn you before overload happens. Sometimes it simply changes the way you think, react, and behave. Imagine your mind as a computer. Every emotion, responsibility, conflict, fear, unfinished task, disappointment, and uncertainty is like another program running in the background. One program may not be a problem, two or three may still be manageable, but when too many programs are running at the same time, the system begins to slow down. Your brain can work the same way. You may be dealing with work pressure, relationships problems, financial concern, future uncertainty, social expectation, and personal disappointment. Individually, each problem may seem manageable, but together they create something much heavier, emotional overloaded. One of the first signs is irritability. You become annoyed by things that normally would not other you. A small comment suddenly feels offensive. A minor delay feels unbearable. Someone makes a simple request and your brain reacts as if another brother has been added to any already overflowing system. This happens because emotional overload reduces your mental capacity. When your brain is already processing too much information, it has less energy available for patience, flexibility, and emotional control. Another common sign is mental exhaustion. You may not have done anything difficult, yet you feel completely drained. Why? Because thinking consumes energy, constant worrying, analyzing, conversation, imagine future problems, replaying past mistakes, and trying to control uncertain situations keep the brain active for long periods. Your body may be sitting quietly, but your mind may be running a marathon. This is why emotional overload can make even simple decisions feel difficult. What should I do? Should I respond? Should I wait? Should I quit? Should I continue? Should I trust this person? When your emotional system is overloaded, your brain often wants one thing: relief, and that can lead to unhealthy coping behavior. Some people isolate themselves, others endlessly scroll through social media, some become emotionally numb, others sleep too much, procrastinate, overread, or constantly seek distraction. These behaviors are not always signs of laziness. Sometimes they are attempts to accept an overloading nervous system. But there is another important psychological mechanism behind emotional overload suppression. May Many people believe that strong people should simply ignore their emotion. So they say, I am fine, it does not matter, I will deal with it later. But emotions that are ignored do not necessarily disappear. They can remain in the background, waiting to be processed. And when enough emotional pressure accumulates, something very small can become the final trigger. That is why someone can suddenly cry over something that seems insignificant. The real reason may not be that one event, it may be months of accumulated emotional pressure. So, how can you reduce emotional overload? The first step is to stop treating every problem as quietly urgent. Your brain becomes overwhelmed when everything feels important at the same time. Ask yourself what actually needs my attention right now, not tomorrow, not next month, right now. The second step is emotional labeling. Instead of saying, I feel rebel, try to identify the emotion. And am I anxious, an- angry, disappointed, lonely, overwhelmed, afraid? Read in psychology suggests that putting feelings into what can help create psychology distance from them. You are no longer simply experiencing the emotion, you are observing it. The third step is reducing mental input. Sometimes the solution is not adding another productivity technique, it is removing stimulation, turn off unnecessary notifications, step step away from constant news, take a quiet walk, sit without your phone, give your brain a few moments where it does not have to process anything new. And perhaps most importantly, remember this: you do not have to solve your entire life in one day. Some problems need action, some need time, some need acceptance, and some are simply thoughts that your exhausted mind is making louder than they really are. Emotional strength does not mean never becoming overwhelmed. It means learning to recognize when your emotional system needs space because your mind is not designed to carry everything at once. Sometimes the most intelligent thing you can do is pause, breathe, step back, and process one emotion at a time. You are not a machine, you are a human being, and sometimes Protecting your mental energy is not weakness.